Well, I had a couple of good experiences right before the quarantine.
Yeah, timing.
Yeah. So I had a Friday night at the Idiot Box. I did an open mic after the
Yep.
Friday night show, and it seemed like the whole audience just stayed for whatever reason
Yeah.
for the open mic. So it was a big crowd, and my set went really well, and I was like, oh, this is what this is like.
Yeah.
And they just, were just laughing constantly the whole set. I was like, this is amazing. And actually, it helped me improve that specific set. It was, or a bit, it was part of a set. It was 5 minutes. So, but I actually added some things into it during that set because of the reaction I was getting from the audience. And it was amazing.
Absolutely. When I started, I wasn't, even though by the time I started doing stand-up, I had done 3,000 improv shows.
Wow.
And, I had kind of this false sense of confidence around stand-up. I wrote my first set. It went really well. And I was like, oh, I guess all of this improv stuff makes me a master at this too. and it's not to say that I didn't learn anything from that. Obviously, I pulled a lot from reading an audience and trying to be in the moment. But I also undid a lot of things. I'm only now back in the moment. When I started doing stand-up, I was so rigid. If I wrote it, I said it. So if the joke was over and I could tell the joke was over, I essentially said, come on, audience, we're going to power through to the end.
I have the same problem.
And so you're going to find a time where you're going to let go of that. You're going to say, all right, I'm just going to let my gut tell me how to finish the set.
Yeah.
And you have to have enough material to do that. If you only have 3 minutes of material, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. But once you start to get a larger, if you're doing 5 minutes and you have 12 minutes, and you start to think about, oh, this bit didn't go very well. I guess they don't like that kind of thing. Let me switch gears to this other thing. And when that works, there's really a feeling of power and command of the art at that moment of, oh, that's the brushstroke I needed to kind of have this effect.
Right, yeah.
It's really cool.
I had a lot of acting experience before doing the open mics, and I feel like that helped with being more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But because there are some similarities in acting and stand-up.
There are, and I'm not an actor, right? So
Yeah.
I've acted in things, including being an extra.
With Robin Williams.
With Robin Williams.
Yeah,
Did I mention that before? But the things that I've acted in, I have a hard time with certain emotions, and certain things come more natural to me.
Yeah.
In life. I'm not generally angry, so it's tough for me to play angry. We were doing we got hired to do a series of training videos for Southwest, and I was supposed to be an angry customer, and the director was like, can you really do that? I was like, okay, I'll be more angry, but it was really just tense, if anything. So definitely there's things that you can always bring across, but then there's always things that you need to learn. And one of the things that an actor friend who did both improv and was also a trained actor kind of said that I've assumed was true, was that acting is around subtleties, and especially with improv, it's around exaggeration and hitting the going big. So it's the difference between going big and going small, but having the ability to do that in an authentic way is a real big kind of key difference. But at the same time, that comes from the same set of acting skills.
Mm-hmm. I feel like with acting, it's it's all about choices, and your choices may not have anything to do with the scene that you're working on, and sometimes you have these monstrous choices, huge choices, and you have to hold back to not, you want people to see it under the surface so it's authentic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
if you do and you can do that in improv very easily. You make a bold choice about your character, and it may never ever come out.
Yeah.
Like you could say, you know what, I'm gonna be a serial killer in this scene, but this scene isn't about killing somebody. It was about, you know, you shopping and finding out there's no Lucky Charms or something like that.
Oh yes,
right?
that's, yeah.
And so whatever it is, you then, you know, you have this little secret that kind of informs your character of how to react. But you can do that in everything. Like I think when you do stand-up, even you need to have that energy behind you of like, I have a secret, and that secret is this is going to be really funny. And even if you're monotonic, you have to have that energy of this is good, and that confidence that comes with that.
Well, I think even those deadpan comics, there's like a mischief in their eyes that almost conveys that idea with the audience. Like you can just see it. It's almost like you see their thoughts.
Yeah.
And that's part of the humor, you know.
Yeah, and sometimes when they break a little bit, it's even more precious.
Yeah, like they can't keep it together because they know it's.
Because like I saw,
they're laughing inside.
I saw a video of Stephen Wright kind of laughing, and I was like, that's the most amazing thing ever. Or when Mitch Hedberg would kind of leave his persona for a moment and smile and open his eyes behind his sunglasses. Like it was really cool. Like those kind of things are really, like even more, they've made it more important because of the way their style is.
Did you see the special that Mitch Hedberg did when he messed up? He may have been just doing a show somewhere, but he messed up his punchline, and then he like called himself out on it and said, "Oh, that's supposed to be like this," and just kind of laughed, and everybody just roared. You know, it's funny because he's so in it. You know. Then
well, audiences automatically know when you're being authentic.
Yeah.
And even though there is that lie that the audience and comedian are going to pretend doesn't exist, the audiences truly do know that the material that's coming out of your face has been done before, it's prepared, even if it seems natural.
Yeah.
But when you have one of those screw-ups and you're in the absolute moment, it's really hard the audience in that moment knows exactly this is in the moment. And and in that world, you drop out of stand-up and now you're in improv. And I've always said that improv comedy has a lower bar for laughter. I'm not trying to say that it's not a skill, and you know, amazing improv people do amazing things. I'm not trying to say that at all. I'm just saying that if you took a transcript from an improv comedy show and said that was the funniest show ever, and you videoed it, it would be lacking. And the magic of improv is that everybody watching it and everybody in it knows that it's coming out right now, so everything is a surprise.
Yeah, it's all silly and. Yeah.
But it's all exaggerated. Yeah, it's all bigger. So
over the top.
And sometimes over the top is going the other way, right? So you can exaggerate in either direction and get something really big or really small, you know, and something, you know, if you have a small reaction to something that normally has a big reaction to it, that's interesting. Right. So and then simultaneously, if you overreact to being out of paper towels, that's also pretty interesting. The audience starts to engage in that, and like these unusual choices that you make, as long as they're kind of bounded in reality, can have this amazing reaction because it's a surprise to the audience. And I think that's, you know, one of the keys to comedy as I teach is coming up with these surprises. And I think for improv, because of the art and the way it's structured, surprises come easier to the form. Yeah,
I think with acting, the stand-up's actually helped me with acting too. It's contributed to my acting with timing and stuff. Like I'll notice things in the script now that I don't want to say deliver the lines because you're not really doing that, but when you're taping a scene or something, or taping an audition, I'll think about it a little differently sometimes because of doing stand-up.